Hi, guys, and welcome to Reality with T. I'm going to talk today about 90 Day Fiance the other way. So, I'm going to start with Ari and Bailey, okay? Remember now, Ari is 90. I just got off work, y'all, and I got to go get the kids, so I'm rushing. But she's 39 weeks pregnant, right? And remember, her mother left her a few weeks ago, so she's in Ethiopia with baby by herself. So we begin the episode with them. They said that they found an apartment because remember they looked at some apartments before that were a little too expensive. So now they actually found an apartment that they could afford and that her parents would approve of and she would feel safe in. So she apologizes to him for saying that she would leave him, in the past. I guess they've been, on good terms since then. So now Baby says that he's been working half the time because Ari has a problem with him going to work and not being with her because maybe she doesn't feel safe or she just wants him with her. She doesn't want him to have the baby and then him not be there helping her. And he doesn't understand it because he's like, in Ethiopia, the women take care of the babies by themselves, but he does it for her. So now remember he used to work like 3 or 4 jobs. Now he's only working half of the time. So now they have to live off of her savings because he's not making enough money to support them. Now, remember, your savings, and she's not working, her savings are going to run out. So, but the whole thing is he doesn't want to make her upset at this time because he's working too much. She wants him there with her. So they start to go look for a car at one point, and it was some little car that I guess in the U.S. we would probably pay cash, maybe like $6,000, $8,000, whatever. I don't know if it was used or what, but she was like, I just thought it would be a lot less. And over there, it was like $22,000. And she's like, no, I'm not paying that for this. We need a car, but that car is too expensive. So they look for another car and it's around the same thing. And she's like, why is everything so expensive? Like this car isn't even worth it. And the lady's like, well, this isn't the US. You know what I mean? Here, she said they explain that they're landlocked. So they pay 2 times the amount in taxes. So everything you get is going to be like 2 to 3 times more than it would be in the United States. So that's something, these are things that she did not, neither of them researched it. Neither of them tried to plan this before she went over there pregnant. So, these are things that come up when you don't plan correctly. To me, she seems very naive. She seems very whimsical. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm in love and not really realizing like there's a whole baby coming and I really have no way to support myself. What if he leaves her? She doesn't know the language. She doesn't know how to get around. She doesn't have any money. She doesn't know anything. All she's going to do is call mommy and say, send me a plane ticket. But I think that's how she's been living her life. So why change now? I would change because I had a baby, but everybody's not like me. So, at one point, at one point, I think the producers asked him, like, if it got to the point where you had to ask her parents for money, would you? And he said, yeah, I wouldn't mind asking her parents for money, and starts laughing. So then we see the next scene when I guess she went in for a regular sonogram and they found out, she's 39 weeks pregnant. They found out the baby is breached and also that the baby has low amniotic fluid. So she's like, they're like, you're going to have a C-section. And she's like, so when is this going to happen? They're like, no, you're not leaving today. This is going to happen today. So of course she's just like immediately crying because she's very attached to her mother. Her mother and father were supposed to be there in her mind when she gives birth. And so her and Benny are like, oh, we're not ready. We're not ready for a kid. I'm like, how are you not ready? She's 39 weeks. You only really go to 40. They will not let you go past 41, 42 weeks. So why are you not ready? You have nothing? That's crazy. Her thing was she was going to have the mother somehow bring the bassinet, all the stuff they needed for the baby over to Ethiopia when they came because maybe they didn't have what they needed or it was too expensive. So they're about to have the baby. Honestly, you don't need much. I know that now that I have kids. You don't need fancy towels, fancy this, fancy that. Listen, get yourself some towels, a pillow, breastfeed, whatever. You honestly don't need much of anything. But they still feel like they're not ready. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Also, the baby had decreased movement, so they were concerned. So they're like, no, this has to happen within the next few hours. They were like, it's 2 more women going into labor before you, and then we're going to be giving you a C-section. So she kind of freaked out, and I think anybody would. So Brittany and Yazan. So Brittany is in Chicago with her mom doing supposed to be going for a court appearance for the divorce from her first husband, who Yazan doesn't know she is still married to. I guess he thought that they already had a divorce. So, her mother's telling her from jump, you need to be honest with these people. You weren't honest with him. You weren't honest with his parents. She's explaining to her mother why, they're very conservative. They will get very upset about it. But the mother's like, she just keeps kind of reiterating to her, like, you need to tell these people, like, you're going to be in so much, it's just going to cause so much more issues if they find out another way. Like, you need to, if you're going to marry this person, you need to feel like you can be honest with him, right? So we'll see. Because, you know, she always like, you never know what she takes seriously because she's always has like this smile plastered on her face and she's laughing and giggling and stuff. So I don't know. We'll see if she actually, I guess next week, maybe she'll come clean to him. But basically she went into the courthouse and she says, because I see people online, they're like, no, she was lying. And she just went in there and went to the bathroom. She says she was there for 3 hours. And basically they said she never filed for divorce. And I could see her going through this whole thing for the cameras and actually never having filed for divorce because she probably didn't take care of her business. Because at one point she said she forgot she filed in Chicago. She probably didn't even do it right. I don't know. But either way, she's still married. So she's going to have to stay in Chicago longer, she said, so that she can get the ball rolling. Now, Jenny and Sumit. So Sumit goes over to his parents' house to have a talk with them. And it's just so crazy that Jenny and him made his parents seem like they were going to kidnap him and take him and they might hurt him and kill him and this and that. When his parents actually seem like they are rationally minded people, older folks, kind of, I mean, not, you know, they're very forward, but they just seem very demure, like in their stance, in their presentation. And they seem a little bit, you know, not elders, but they're on the older side. So it's like, I just didn't see, like, how are they going to kidnap this 30-year-old man? I don't know, but whatever. He has a talk with the parents. And I noticed that his dad speaks English and the mother doesn't. I also noticed that with Yazan's dad speaks English, the mother doesn't. I also noticed with Jihoon's dad, he speaks a little bit of English, the mother doesn't. It just makes you think, like in some of these countries, how they send the boys and the men to be educated and the women are just not at the same level. But that's just something that I noticed. Okay. So basically his parents said that they will not accept her because she's too old. And you know, basically they said, you know, as she's going to be older, she is. In 10 years, you'll be 40, she'll be 70, whatever it is, right? And you're going to have to start caring for her. So are you preparing yourself to care for us as your parents and care for her? You can't. And are you just going to leave us to the side because you're caring for her? Like, they're basically like, this age gap is just too much. Number one, it's too much because we don't want to see you with somebody this old. Number two, because society is looking at us and they will be looking at us crazy once they find out about it and we're embarrassed by it. That's what it is. So he's like, you know, you shouldn't be thinking about society. But then the dad also brought up something about $20,000. The parents have to pay for his divorce. They took fault for making him marry that woman. But I think that their thing was, let's get him to marry somebody his age to get him away from Jenny. They made him do it. He did it. And they said that was our fault because, you know, he kind of told him I was dying. You know what I mean? Like, I think at one point, did he say he tried to commit suicide or he was very depressed or something like that? And he said, you know, that was your fault. And they took fault for that. They should not have done that. But they still don't want to see him with her, right? Yeah, he said he thought of suicide like 3 times. And his mother becomes emotional. You can tell his mother loves him. His father loves him. They want the best for him. They don't see Jenny as being the best for him, you know? So there's a lot of back and forth. And he gets, he said he got kind of aggressive. He got very forward. He was letting out his thoughts. And, you know, toward the end of the conversation, they kind of said, you know, they'll try to accept him. They want him to be happy in the end. They'll try to accept their relationship. And then I think the producer, somebody asked them about marriage. They're like, wait a minute, I don't know about marriage yet, you know, or engagement, but they will try to accept this relationship between them. So, you know, he talks to Jenny about what happened. And, you know, Jenny, to me, she just, I don't know, she's starting to seem like really, really desperate. Like, you know, and I guess that's because she wants to get married so quickly. But she starts talking about them aging and her aging. But she also said, you know, I'm in better health than them and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, hold on a second. Like, why do you have to put my family down? They're looking out for me. They're looking out in the best way that they know how to for me. So why are you trying to put them down? I don't know. We don't know who's in better health. It doesn't matter who's in better health because anything can happen to anybody at any time. We see the most healthy people, you know, they might fall out, God forbid, or have a stroke or anything. All these things are happening. So comparing what you think is healthier, no, just stop it. You know what I mean? That's not helpful right now. She said, you know, I would never ask you to give up on your family for me. And he said, I would never give up on my family. And she said, no, I would never ask you that. He said, no, even if you did ask me that, I would never give up on my family. So I like that part. But then, you know, she goes back to, I fear for you, I'm scared for you, da, da, da. His parents are not going to kill that boy. They just want to get him away from you. They probably tried to scare the crap out of him to get him away from you. And that's what I think that was. But I guess we'll find out more next week. Now, Kenny and Armando. So Kenny and Armando, remember they're gonna go see. I got this weird curl sticking out. It's bothering me. Let me try to stick it in. Okay. Kenny and Armando. This is all natural, y'all. I'm a 4C girl. Did me a little braid out last night. So Kenny and Armando, they're going to see Armando's family because they have to go pick up Hannah. Now remember, Kenny is he's trying to tell Armando, like, let it all out. You know what I mean? Tell them about the full engagement. Let them know. He's kind of pressuring him a little bit. And at one point, Kenny says, like, Armando says, don't pressure me. Because you can already see his whole stature has changed. You can see probably tears are just probably right behind his eyeballs. They're ready to come out. He's right on the brink of, like that anxiety. He probably feels nauseous. Like all of his body language says this is going to be like the worst day of my life. I'm so afraid. He does not want to do this, but he's doing it for his relationship. He feels he has to. He wants to be honest with his family once and for all, and he wants to introduce them to the love of his life. So, Kenny's saying, I don't know about the vibe, this type of thing. So they drive up and the whole family happens to be there. And I say the whole family, I mean the mom, her sisters, nieces, aunts, whoever else, right? And everybody's looking at them and it's very awkward because everybody is so quiet. Dad is in the house. Dad didn't want to come out. But eventually mom goes into the house and tries to get the dad to at least come out and see Armando. And, at the point you can hear them, dad behind the door, and she's like, just go out and meet them, just go out. And he finally comes out. He meets Kenny, like a quick, hey, how you doing? I think he gives Armando a hug. And when he goes and he says, this is always your home type of a thing, and leaves. Because you can tell he was just so uncomfortable, very disapproving of everything that's happening. But you can also tell the mother and the father, they love their son. He has been living with them their whole life. The granddaughter has been living with them her whole life because whoever he had, Hannah's mother passed away, I believe from a car accident or something like that. So they've been living with the parents full time. So the mother is hurt. You're dealing with, in this culture, society, we don't accept this type of relationship, a homosexual relationship. I'm embarrassed, but I love my son. I obviously don't want to see him in this relationship, but I don't want to push him away. At the same time, my granddaughter, now he's moving in with this man. He's leaving us. He's going to be 4 or 5 hours away. Now he's taking my granddaughter. And I don't know if you understand, like when you have grandparents caring for their grandchildren, those are their babies. You're taking their heart. You know what I mean? Especially on an everyday thing. That's a child. That's very much child. You know what I mean? So she's dealing with a lot right now. And so is the dad. You know what I mean? I give the dad grace as well because, even more so for him, this is my son. He's feeling that this is my son. He's homosexual. We see it very differently here in the United States. Is great. Even if we don't agree, parents don't agree in the beginning, they come around the whole thing because our society is now to the point where we're accepting it. Where he is that's foreign. We don't see this every day. We don't accept this. I know how people here respond. This is, he's not in agreement, but he loves his son. So I give these parents grace because they're trying. The father to come out and not go off and not become violent or whatever it is, or not disown his son. He's trying. He loves his son. So I just made a caveat because I give them grace because it can't be easy, So they go back and they sit with the family, and at one point, later I think it was Kenny said or Armando said he was a little disappointed in his dad because all he did was come out. He wanted him to get to know Kenny. I mean, he's taking baby steps. Let people go at their own pace. You know what I mean? Everyone's kind of crying outside because they're leaving. They don't want Armando to leave. And then at this point, Armando feels it's the best time to announce his engagement. And then you just have complete silence. And everybody is looking at him. I guess Kenny thought it would be claps, hugs, tears of joy. No, everybody was looking at them like, are you freaking serious? And you're going to tell us this now. The mother was very upset because she is like, you could have told me that privately before you told my sisters, everybody else. Again, she's embarrassed. I'm embarrassed about this whole situation. And then you're throwing all this stuff on me all at one time. At least give me the respect to tell me first to the side so I know that you're going to drop this bombshell on the rest of my family and friends. That's all here. this is a completely new idea to them. You know what I mean? So now, and Kenny is just kind of, he's like, oh, it was hard. Like the reception was horrible. You know what I mean? But I don't know what they expect. You know what I mean? There had to have been a better way to do that. And I agree with the mother. You could have told her beforehand so that she was prepared and she wasn't put on the spot. Um, and then I think she said she's not going to tell the dad. He would have to do that, whatever. They thought it was a positive. Kenny was kind of like, I can't believe your dad type of thing. And Armando was like, well, he came out the house to meet you. That's a good thing. They asked about staying at the house. And I was like, the mother, because kind of hesitant, was like, of course you can stay here. To me, I thought, even here, in the United States, first of all, even in heterosexual relationships, because some people are old school, like when you go home and everything, sometimes if you're not married to the person, you don't stay in an elder's home. You might stay at a hotel, or even if you do, one is going to sleep in the bedroom, one is going to sleep in a couch. I'm thinking like, you already know the family doesn't approve, especially the dad in his home. He doesn't approve of this, that they're going to sleep together in that bed, in that house. I just thought that was a little disrespectful, because I don't know, just out of respect, that's just something that we do. You don't sleep together in the bed in the same, whatever. That was just a thing, because you don't want people to feel like they're being disrespected or uncomfortable or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like Armando, he could have, that's his home. He could have given Kenny the room and you sleep on the couch or whatever it is. I don't know how that's going to go over. But remember that everybody's on camera. So everything is, hunky dory to the best of their abilities. They're not going to, come out and be, too aggressive, and they're not really going to let the cameras and the whole world know how close-minded they are. But we don't know how they feel for real. So, I guess, that's time to be told. But at the same time, Armando feels bad. He's saying, I didn't want to hurt my family. That wasn't his intention. He wanted to let everybody know how happy he is, and share the love of his life, and let them know who's going to be raising Hannah with him, but he doesn't want to hurt them. And I guess that's the biggest thing. Like, it sucks that me being the person that I am, living the life I want to live, hurts my family. So I can't imagine how that feels. But I do wish them the best. I feel like they're like one of the best couples on this season. So I hope that they work out. Either way, leave me comments. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, share, do the whole thing for me. And I will see you next week. Thank you for joining Reality with T.